So a related question, what the investor wants to know both of your views on cryptocurrency and whether it is a good alternative investment for a retail investor, just like gold is.
So I will give a very short answer. Ajit can probably elaborate it with a lot of views. To me, it still appears to be a very speculative product. There are still no regulations behind it as to how much of that currency could be printed. There is no asset backing it, and there are now too many of those currencies floating around. So while it may look attractive for certain people who want to take the risk, but to me it appears to be still a very risky proposition. But Ajit may have a lot more views on it, so let's hear from him on that.
So yeah, I mean, I must confess that in March of 2020 last year, I did consider buying one crypto, buying one of this, Bitcoin. It was $6,600, and I said, should I just buy one and not for fun, for pure musty, And sadly, I did not. But even if I did, I'd have probably sold it when it went to $9,000 or something like that. But let me give you my views on crypto, right? The way I look at crypto is, so if you had a bank locker and you have some certificates or something gold lying in your bank locker, how would you get to that bank locker? You would enter the bank branch, you would show the branch manager your proof of ID, you would have a key to the locker, the branch manager would have a key to the locker, he would take you down the steps, dingy steps, put some light on, open a door, take you to the locker room, you turn your key, he'd turn your key, and you'd open it, and you have your gold inside. So what is crypto? Crypto is that I have a key, and it's something called, I have a key, and I say it's mine, and everyone, and this is blockchain, right? And everyone else will confirm through this technology that, yep, that is indeed Ajit. So rather than one branch manager with a key, there are multiple people out there who are confirming that this is indeed Ajit and he's got the right key. So fine, we go to the locker and we open the locker. What do we have inside there? In my bank locker, we had gold. Oh, what's inside that? What's inside Bitcoin? I don't see anything. Okay, you confirmed I own it. And that's very nice of you to confirm that I own it through blockchain mechanisms. So if you have to have a currency, it's got to have a store of value. It's got to have an easy transaction price. There are certain characteristics of a currency. That's why it may take many, many years for even the Chinese renminbi to become a currency. There's a certain trust factor that's involved in it. So yes, between you and I, we can decide that seashells are a currency, and they were currency in the past. We can decide beads are a currency. We can decide that a blank quantum letterhead is a currency. We can decide anything is a currency. And that can be what's lying inside the vault after I've turned my key and claim it's mine, and you through blockchain have turned your key and confirmed that that piece of blank paper or the quantum letterhead, belongs to me. But what is there behind it, right? I mean, I can understand the need for crypto in the sense that you're trying to get away because of the secrecy. You're trying to get away from government scrutiny. You want to know that no one wants to know who owns it. Fair enough. I can understand it being a haven for, dark stuff that you may want to do. But I understand the need for digital currency. A digital currency, Reserve Bank of India, could issue a digital currency backed by rupees. Someone can issue a digital currency backed by gold. Someone a digital currency backed by Swiss franc. And I believe there are 60 or 70 central banks in the world, and China and Singapore, I believe, are in the lead, who are setting up digital currencies, but they have the backing of their central banks behind it. Who's backing what's in that Hava when I open that locker of crypto? So I haven't quite got my mind to thinking that, I'm willing to pay something for that Hava which is there in the locker when I turn the key. So I'm not a fan of crypto. I don't understand it. I don't see, it's not because I can't pinch it. Uh, I can actually, I don't pinch my gold every day. I know it's lying in the quantum, in the quantum gold savings fund or in the quantum gold ETF in a vault. And I have a paper that confirms that I own that many units of the gold which is in the vault. Fair enough. I don't have to touch it, but I have to know that there's gold over there. When I open that crypto, safe, There's nothing in it. There's air. I mean, tomorrow I could launch in some sense my own cryptocurrency. So I believe I read somewhere that there are hundreds of cryptocurrencies out there, right? And it's basically, to my view, a greater fool theory. I was willing to buy Bitcoin last year, not because I believed in it, but I was following what's called the greater fool theory principle, which is I'm fool enough to buy it at $6,600 for one Bitcoin, but I'll find a greater fool to buy it to me at a higher price, right? I didn't buy it because it's a value play or because there's something fundamentally solid in it. I bought it for musty. Little bit of musty you're allowed in life, but you should not put your, life's goals based on musty.
Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.